Masa Jimeshira Parajan, Majimanganangan, Suzara Shiji, Water Sunjiva Yunaja, Zalo Jagajeto, Pagova, Panjaparamenta, Shitai. Pejeto Jumde, the Mashiro Jebaro, the Jemania Bojumde, the Mashiro Jebaro, the Jambala Chazalo, the Jeta Jetuba, the Chanajumde, the Jebako, Jagopumber. Kelonji Jede Jambada, Jajusembe, Jede Jambada, Tabjito, Juzo, Deze, Chunda, Somona, Washi, Javachi, and Jeding, Basho, Yang. Jajusamba, Samba, Jamba, Baba, Jereza, Jashiro, Jabaruto, Jamba, Somajavanya, Nabada, Shampomanga, the Dalaya, Shiji, Tombaya, the Bajas of the Wood, and Sanjay. Sedanda Sheriff Janjusamba Zamba Jamba Baba Jereza, Wanjola, the Gajan, Mesori, Jabari, Jabamagala, Chiraja, Parota, Jamba, Zamajaba. Tidalabaja, the Gajama, Janjusamba, Zamba, Jamba, Baba Jereza, Wanjo, Jetta, and the Bashareta, the Bola, the Gajam, Sheriff, Rijabamagala. Paruto Chima Samajuba the Bade, the Nambata Vaja, the Pamangamba, the Talaya, Rashi, Tombaya, the Vajas of Tao, Sutomba, Tomani, Susula, Tomani, Shamaya, Tomani, Legends, Sujamaya, in addition to the number of Chibana, Tomba, Sherebo, the Dutch, the Tomani, the same Manjaba, Manga, Batamama, Batamada, Batawana, Bakawan, Sherebo, the Dawana, Tomani, Sumen, so I'm and the Jim and the Jim and Amajim, Mena, Mejimelo, Sumeta, Metime, Rumer, Miji kama mana ije kama ije na bashi baka jembato yamendo mariba me mariba seba me mana gashi me gashi seba bato yamendo teshindo tunga wada kujo wada gobada la me ishe me toba Madoba yamendo cherebo teta wana jansu samana toba me bechere shiro je paro to chembadela tenje dende sala jeba me jetadum Chinjilo ne shendo tene nyangane tebe tara chendo tu sudo na bashi basa jeta je shiro je paro to chembadela tena lana mabayanda baso becho judo baso basa Tatawana Shiroja Paruto Chimenga, Reba Chimenga, Lana Memanga, Minya Batanya Brachimenga, Tunga and Jeruto Shivra Chimenga, Mizabana, the Basha Bacha, the Shiroja Paruto Chimenga, Mavertet, Omanga de Paranga de Parasanga de Bode, Sofa, Sherebo, Janjusamba, Samba Chamba, the Shiroja Paruto Chamba Samala. The name of the thing is in the Shilla, the Jusamba Samba Chamba Bajara, so one Jola Leso, Chijawa Jana Leso, Leso, but the Deshan of the Deshan, the Chitorki, the Bashi, Shiroja Paro, the Chambala Chabajet. The Shishivan and Jesu Yeran, one of the Digit cards and etc. the Mashere, but the Jusamba Samba Chamba Bajara, one of the Taja, the Bakura, the Hata, Mental Hamayan. The Sachi Vegetarian, the Jumde, the Jesumba long but to Tatum Kataka Paranga, the person of the position. That I get the parang at the person of the so that I get the parang of the person. Get the parang at the person. That I get the parang at the parasang at the body so Namala cha, Los Angeles cha, Solo Chula cha, Solo Kindolacha. Yujamashira Paro to Chambala cha, Salotaji, the Bitset of a Chichidamula, but Yujamashira Paro, but also Magila, second to Jabal. The teachers of the Picho, the teacher of the partition, Jamachara Parajabato, some yellow second of the Jabalat and the teachers of the Medibicho, the chair and over Juja member Jewish was Rabdo Chewa, George, Kanjeta Jeto, Jungaba member, member, Chaba member, Tam member, Warm member, member, Tata, the Metrobani, she the Batsoba, Sanja Manaja, Tambadela. Giri tonda jaju shiwa da mendene be jenda dawa da toba to jepu so je peta chi te janda de tele sho u me chi je je pora do to so sanje kunye ngo nya ra su chukru ngo so tawela mana la go cha cha tabje to je she je re so to shin je mendo du je ponjo ba se je lombo da ponje bo ko she je zo de la go cha cha time ho so tu ji je ngo do mande shi je ngo ba je ta je se ba kunje chi je je nya men de ko ren je go cha cha Taso Sanji Tanji, Yellow Choso to watch in Yellow to Chelando watch. Lantuba Sava Jinjil to Sotuba issues to watch in Yellow to Kuneki, the Bodalama Solo Jeps, Chis in Yellow. Nasa Bodalama Solo Jeps, Tobata to watch in Yellow to Tuchin to watch in Yellow to the Machine. Chaje Chembe Chujung to set the Yellow Toba Chingela to Sanja Kunda Savala Malakusungo Chambachatalo, the Milan or Wachaba that set to Banya Bachingela, Masanja and Bachala Chips, Chuches and Jerum Bachala Chips. First, I want to apologize a little bit because outside there's some construction going on. So a little bit noisy here. So also second is but there we took few days kind of 2 weeks we couldn't take class because of some other reasons. Today I want to finish this chapter 10 of the enlightenment. When talking about the enlightenment, basically talking about the wisdom and kaya. So this wisdom and kaya is a our ordinary mind and 5 aggregate transform into the transform or into the pure, then it transform into the 5 what are called the 3 kaya and 5 wisdoms, or here basically mentioned on the 4 wisdoms. So this is the what we achieving when we become a Buddhahood. So in this chapter, explain about what is the 4 kayas, 3 kayas, and what is the 4 wisdoms. We stop last time, verse 59. Maybe I share here. It's better. Yeah, here we stop. Verse 59. Distinguishing as a nature, the perfect enjoyment and the teaching and the manifestation, all that described as a perfectly pure expanse in the reality of the enlightened state. So that way, that is what is enlightened state mean. That this enlightened state of the this one is divided into normally enlightened state we divide it into 2 called the wisdom and kaya. Kaya mean the form, what kind of form they achieve, body they achieve. Wisdom as a knowledge or knowing. So first is talking about the this called the explanation of the support of the 3 Buddha body, or 3 Buddha 3 kaya of the Buddha. So it said the body of the Buddha are classified as a nature body, the body of the perfect enjoyment, and another the body of the manifestations. First is the basis for the other 2. So this one is when divided into the Buddha's, classifying in the Buddha's enlightened body, normally we have 3. It's a nature body. Nature body is it's called the Dharma kaya or wisdom kaya, which is when alaya consciousness purified. Earlier mentioned about the transformation. When alaya consciousness is a transform, how to transform is a alaya consciousness defiled. Right now, our consciousness is defiled, and when that defilement or obscuration is purified, or then it is transformed. Mean so when it transform or it's purified, then reach to the nature state. That is called the Dharmakaya. So that way it's called the this nature state. And this nature state, also divided into sometimes type into two, called the aspect of the suchness and aspect of the wisdoms. So aspects of the suchness, this nature state, is called the Savibhakakaya, and aspect of the wisdom is called the Dharmakaya. So within this nature state, also divided into two. But mainly, this when ordinary human being, we call the base or ordinary sentient beings is called the alaya consciousness. That alaya consciousness is it become a consciousness because it's obscured by the defilement, and through the path, path of the accumulation, path of the application, path of the seeing, path of the meditation, and by accumulating our tool, wisdom, and method, they reach to they purifying all the defilement, then reach to the state of the nature. So that is so what is the base? Transform through the path to actualizing in the result of the Buddhahood. So base means the Buddha, within the sentient beings. So within the sentient beings that is called the alaya consciousness. That alaya consciousness is a transform or purifying. When it purifying, it become a nature body. Then a second one is the body of the perfect enjoyment. A body of the perfect enjoyment is talking about the Sambhogakaya. So this is the body of the perfect enjoyment is when ordinary sentient being, we call the afflicted mind, afflicted consciousness, and mind consciousness. So from the 8 consciousness, afflicted consciousness and mind consciousness mean that mind is a conceptual thought, and that also the conceptual thought is called the mind consciousness. Like we have a discrimination, after you see certain phenomena, then you have a feeling of good, bad, like, dislike, that kind of afflicted emotion arising. So that is that kind of thought arising. The thought is called like a mind consciousness. And from that thought too, then you have an afflicted emotion of attachment or aversion or that kind of afflicted emotion. That is called afflicted consciousness. So those two, through the path of the accumulation and path of the application, and those, in the Bodhisattva's path, purifying, that is called the transformation. How to transform is realizing that the true nature of that, mind consciousness and afflicted emotions consciousness. When it is a transform, so then it become enjoyment body of the Sambhogakaya. Then another is the body of the manifestation. Body of the manifestation is called the Nirmanakaya. There is many different kind of manifestation manifest through the Nirmanakaya form. And this one is when our 5 sense, like eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness. So those 5 sense are impure, or called the sentient beings, and through the practice of the Dharma meditation, and which is a transform, means the purifying. When it is purifying and reaches the Nirmanakaya body. So this is a 3, basically talking about the 3 body of the Buddha or enlightenment. Then said, first is the basis for the other 2. It means the Dharmakaya is the base for the Sambhoga Kaya of the enjoyment body, and the Nirmana Kaya of the manifestation. Why? Because those two are manifest from the Dharma Kaya. Within the state of the Dharma Kaya, they can manifest as Sambhoga Kaya and Nirmana Kaya. So, of course, like how to manifest the Sambhoga Kaya and Nirmana Kaya is have to depend on the three conditions, or three causes, according to the jewel ornament. As in the jewel ornament, they mention about the three causes. What are the three causes? They say, Buddha's when Buddha was Bodhisattva's path, his aspiration prayer, and Buddha's inexhaustibly compassion toward to the sentient being and sentient being karma. When those three come together, Buddha will manifest. So then maybe people ask, why right now Buddha not manifesting? It's because we don't have karma to can see the Buddha. What is the karma mean? The obscuration of karmic obscuration. So we don't have that enough to merit. Without enough to merit, cannot see Buddha directly. So that reason we couldn't see nowadays during the degeneration time, we cannot see Buddha directly. Even Buddha come, we're not going to recognize Buddha as a Buddha. Like for example, we know His Holiness Dalai Lama, His Holiness Shazara Rinpoche, and all those are a reincarnation of the enlightened beings, but we only see as a human being. That reason Buddha himself said to the Ananda, in the future, during the degeneration time, Buddha will be manifest as a form of teacher. So we couldn't see the enlightened body, but we can see as a teacher. So that is how we can, that much our karma have. And some people, some beings, even they don't have that much karma, so that way they couldn't see as a teacher them. Like they couldn't see His Holiness Dalai Lama, His Holiness Shazara Rinpoche, and those all the great master. We couldn't see them as a teacher, just see as a another human being. So that is how, because of the lack of our good merit, we couldn't see them as enlightened beings. So that way, so if you have a question about how I can see those three kayas, Rupa Kaya and Sambhoga Kaya, and I said you have to have great merit. And then why there's three kayas? Question also maybe ask three kayas. Three kaya is a reason, is a main Buddha is the Dharma Kaya. Buddha is never removed from the Dharma Kaya, always be state of the Dharma Kaya. Once reach to the Buddhahood, which is called the Dharma Kaya or nature body. But because of those three, as a condition I mentioned, because of those three conditions manifest as a form body called the Rupa Kaya. So this form body is a two kind of form body called one is called the enjoyment body, one is called the Nirmana Kaya bodies. Enjoyment body is the Sambhoga Kaya, only can see by the pure disciple, like a Bodhisattva. Generally, Bodhisattva have to have first bhumi to 10th bhumi, and especially above the 8th bhumi. Those Bodhisattva called the pure bhumi. They can directly see the Buddha. And ordinary non-enlightened beings, but they have to have reached to the path of the application, accumulation, to see the directly Nirmana Kaya Buddha. So those beings can see, and that also one is because of the Nirmana Kaya is a manifest to the impure disciples or devotees, and Sambhoga Kaya is a manifest to the pure disciples like Bodhisattva. So that reason there's two manifestations based on the recipients, can say karma or recipients condition, and Buddha also manifests as a two different type of enjoyment body. Okay, so that reason there's generally talking about the three kayas. Now here said, in all the world, the body of the perfect enjoyment. Now we're talking about this, describing about the enjoyment body or Sambhogakaya body. Body of the perfect enjoyment varies on the account of it retinue, Buddha feel, name, body, enjoyment of the teaching and activities. Generally, Sambhogakaya is not one cannot say. There's many different kinds of Sambhogakaya manifests. So that reason said there's all the world of the body perfection enjoyments. So all the world, the body perfection enjoyment means the talking about the pure recipient in the pure land. In the pure land, Sambhogakaya manifests. So it's called the Yongsu Tagweshi, is a pure feel. Pure feel of a universe or pure feel of a recipient and the manifest as a Sambhogakayas. But this Sambhogakaya have a many different type of Sambhogakayas or many different. So that we call the virus on the account of the of it. Readiness. So there's a first is a those Sambhogakaya Buddha have each one have their own name, different name of the retinus. Not necessarily all the Buddha have same retinus. So that reason different type of retinus. And Buddha feel some are gold, some are what called the diamond, some are silver, and all different feel of the Buddha feel also. Like if you read the about the Buddha feel of the medicine Buddha is a different color. Buddha feel of the Amitabha, different color. Buddha feel of the Taras, different color. So if you look those all the Buddha feel, each one have different color and the material is also different. Each one describing as a material different type of jewel as a ground of their particular Buddha feel. So that reason feel is also different. Then name. And like we have Amitabha, Akshobhya, and there are many different names. Buddha, also not one Buddha name. So Sambhogakaya have many different names. And the body, you can see some body have a green color, some are chocolate color, some are red color, some are yellow color, some are gold color. So that is that way saying is a body also different. And enjoyment of teachings. Some Sambhogakaya mainly emphasizing teaching on the Panchanaparamita. Some emphasizing mainly teaching on the Dashabhumi Sutra and so. Those Mahayana teaching, they each one they emphasize mostly. So that reason enjoyment of teaching also variety of enjoyment of the teachings. Then enlightened activity. Then those enlightened activity, they manifest different way according to the disposition of the mental capacity of sentient beings, or according to the sentient beings. Disposition of the mental capacity of sentient being, Buddha manifests according to that one. So that reason their enlightened activity also different. So Sambhogakaya, basically all Sambhogakaya are same, but there's a many variety of Sambhogakayas. You can see many different type of a pure land of the enlightened that is showing as a many different type of a variety of a Sambhogakaya Buddha. So that is what is a Sambhogakaya mean. Now, Dharmakaya. Nature body is a uniform. So it means nature body is the result of the two kind of a purification. Purification from the purified by the nature and purified by the removal. Purified by the nature means that naturally it's pure. That is not different from the sentient being and Buddha.
all are equal to same, that our nature is always pure. So purified by the nature. And purified by the removal means through the practice, through the meditation, contemplate, hearing, and we remove our defilement, called the temporary defilement, like obscuration of the karma, obscuration of the liberation, obscuration of the omniscience. Those all remove from that nature. So that was called the purified by the purified from the removal. So these two purity, result of this true purity. So that is called the Dhammadhatu, or suchness, which is the pure. That pure have no differential. All are same. That was called the uniform, mean that they all same. Sorry. They all same. So nature body is a uniform, mean that equal to same. They are because they are a result of the two type of purity. And subtle. Why is it subtle? Because nature body is beyond the concept or beyond the understanding of the is called the ideology, beyond the understanding of the what called this logic. So or beyond the understanding of the like a hero or solitary realizer. So that were called the subtles. Related to the later bodies. Related to the later body mean the nirmana nature body is the cause to nirmana kaya and sambhoga kaya. Nirmana kaya and sambhoga kaya is a manifest from the nature body of the dharma kaya. So related to the later body. Later is talking about the two other body, nirmana kaya and sambhoga kaya. It manifests enjoyment, however they may be desires. So how to that related to is it from that to manifest, however they may desire, and from this body to enjoyment. Enjoyment means the enjoying on the Mahayana teachings. Like it's not same as our enjoyment. Our enjoyment is a kind of like related to the external phenomena. Like when we see something beautiful, we said, oh, I enjoy. When we eat something good, we said, I enjoy. This is mostly enjoying on the Dharma of the Mahayana teachings. So that we call the enjoyment, however they are desires. And so he held to be the cause of the world of a perfect enjoyment. So what is the world of the perfect enjoyment? There's two kind of wealth for the enjoyment body of the Sambhoga Kaya. Outer wealth and inner wealth. Outer wealth is all the pure universe, how appearance, all those pure land. The pure land have a great quality of the enjoyment, the place, the condition, and like if you read the Sugawati Pure Land of the Amitabha, they said whatever you wish to become that way. All the ground is soft like a mattress, basically, and whatever you wish to be food, drink, whatever come from the wishing tree. And when you wishing to be warmer, it become just naturally temperature become a warmer. When you become wishing to be cooler, naturally it become a cooler, And so those all is the enjoyment of the wealth of that pure land. That is called the external wealth. Then in internal wealth and enjoying on the Mahayana teachings. That's the internal wealth. So that reason said wealth of the perfect enjoyment. So that's why this is called the enjoyment body. And the boundless manifestation of the enlightened state are held to be the manifestation body. the fulfillment of the twofold goal and rest entirely on the two. So boundless manifestation of the enlightened state. So what is the boundless manifestation of the enlightened state? Mean the Buddha's manifesting. There's a no like this much. Buddha will manifest whatever according to benefit for sentient beings. Not just only, lots of time we think Buddha's manifestation should be enlightened beings, like somebody have a title like Rinpoche or, holiness or eminence or some things. Not only that way. When Buddha is a manifest, sometimes manifests as a water, sometimes manifests as a, fires, and also sometimes manifests as a servant, sometimes manifests as all different type of whatever need, Buddha manifests that way. So very any kind of different manifestations, so that were called the boundless. It means the countless of the manifestation of the enlightened state. Are held to be the manifestation body. So, if you look the some text said, hell Buddha, hungry ghost Buddha, demigod Buddha, human Buddha, and this also we can see the different type of Buddha that is showing us all the Nirmanakaya Buddha manifest any kind of realm wherever there need to be benefit, wherever can benefit. So so that way manifests as in the human realm, Buddha manifests as a human form like Shakyamuni Buddha. In the God realm, Buddha manifests as a God form, like when Buddha before come to the Shakyamuni, like he was a Trishita, in the God form. So it's a manifest as according to their place. So that way called them it manifested enjoyment. Okay, it told to be manifestation of the body, fulfill the twofold goals. So here, fulfill the two goals. As a goal of the individual and goal of the others. Goal of the self here is talking about the nirmana sambhogakaya. Sambhogakaya enjoyment body is the perfection of the Buddha's, whatever you can achieve the perfection of the enlightenment body as the sambhogakaya. So that way, because they enjoy on the Mahayana teachings, so that way it's called the perfection of fulfill of the self goal, and for the benefit of other sentient beings. Buddha manifests as many different type of manifestation of the Nirmanakaya form, pure or impure, different manifestation. So that way, this is for the fulfillment of goal of others. So, so this is a rest. I don't know, it's a rest or dual. Dual entirely on the two is called the Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya. Within these two, abide within these two, all the benefits. Now, then the earlier said that Dharmakaya is the self-benefit, and Nirmanakaya or Rupakaya is the others benefit. But here, Dharmakaya is not mentioned, saying only for the twofold fulfill. So the goal is a self-fulfilled goal is a Sambhogakaya, and others fulfilled goal of the is a Nirmanakaya. Is a reason is a because of what you're achieving. But Dharmakaya is a beyond that. So in the Dharmakaya, there's no discrimination of the selves fulfill or others fulfill, because there's no discrimination of the self and other. And one is that one. Two, and Dharmakaya is the source of all those both fulfillments, source of the both fulfillment. So that reason they not mentioned on the Dharmakaya. Here, twofold goal is talking about the Nirmanakaya and the Sabhogakaya. As a Nirmanakaya as a personal fulfill of the goal, and the Sabhogakaya as a fulfill goal for others. Okay, by constantly displaying the artist's expression, birth, great enlightened being, and parinirvana, Buddha manifestation body are the great men for the liberating beings. So, constantly, like continually, Buddha not just one time, two time, sometime, or only here, only there. Wherever is a need, Buddha manifests constantly, displaying the artist's expression. So it means that Buddha, like there's a called a one time Buddha manifests as a artist of a carpenter. Sometimes Buddha manifests as a artist of a pottery. Sometimes Buddha manifests as a artist of a musician. Sometimes Buddha manifests as a, so this kind of different way to benefit. I think some of like a current, current day, some of those musicians, maybe some kind of a enlightened manifestation. I'm not saying they are enlightened manifestation, but I mean, they are how they can benefit for the many beings, so there are many ways to, artists can benefit. Like when you see some kind of special art, painting or sculpture, or the lesson, some song, it releases you all your attention, stress, at the moment. So there's a beneficial can come from those beautiful arts. So I'm not saying all the artists are enlightenment, manifestation for the enlightenment, but there are a lot of enlightened beings manifest that way, because especially that during the degeneration time, people only can communicate through these kind of arts. Through the art can get a lot of benefit. So I think there's a many expression of the what is displaying the artists by Buddha. Then also birth, great enlightenment, and parinirvana. So like Shakyamuni Buddha was born in the Kushin, what called the Lumbini, and great enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in the Bodh Gaya, and Mahaparinirvana in the Kushinagar. So those all is a manifestation. Those all is a display, for our sake. So Buddha, so otherwise Buddha no need to born from the womb. Buddha no need to, go through the under hardship to achieve the enlightenment. And Buddha have no, what called karma to dying, like a Mahaparinirvana. But those all Buddha manifest for us, called the enlightened deed or a discipline for teaching us. Lord Jiddu said, if you look the Buddha's life story, there is nothing as not involved to the teaching to us. Every single his action he manifests, everything is a teaching to us. Jiddu said, Buddha even not going to breathe in and out if there's no benefit for sentient beings. Like why Buddha was born? Because even Buddha manifests miraculously, then the rest of us feel like, oh, Buddha is a Buddha because he come miraculously. We are not that one. We're born from the ordinary birth. So we are not same. So that way we never try to become Buddha. So that way he born as a human being and went through all the hardship, training. And Buddha not just show up the enlightened body. He went through so much hardship First, you receive all the teaching from at that times, there's no teacher left, that Buddha not received teachings. He not just received teachings, he trained really well until the teacher said, I cannot teach you anymore. Until that, like the teacher have nothing left to teach. Then Buddha move on next teacher. So he went to many teachers. After those all teachings, then he went to 6 years ascetic meditation. Then through that too, he become enlightenment. So those are Buddha showing us to how to achieve the enlightenment. Then Buddha cannot be died. Buddha have a Vajra body. Buddha have a Vajra body, but at the age of 82, at the Kushinagar, he took Mahaparinirvana. So those are showing us we are lazy. So we have a sense of permanent, going to stay forever. So that way Buddha show us even Buddha died, there's no question for every other sentient beings. Even Buddha have a Vajra body, indestructible, like a poison, fire, weapon. Anyone cannot destroy the Buddha's body, but at some point he passed away. That is also teaching. So this Buddha manifests lots of different kind of a manifestation through the manifestation to display. It's all teaching to us. So if you look the Buddha's life story, you will know what is mean to become a Dharma practitioner, and how should you practice your Dharma, just by learning Buddha's life story. So that's called the display. That way is called the display. So that is that reason Buddha manifests as a manifestation of the body are the great mean to be liberated beings. So through this many different type of manifestation, to main purpose is how to liberate other sentient beings. He is showing to us how to liberate, by example, through his example. So that reason, like in the Tibetan Buddhism tradition, we have lots of called reincarnation, like recognizing, but they have to go through same training every lifetime. They are no like you are now many lifetime trained. This life you don't need to train. They have to receive same teaching. They have to go through the same training. They have to go through the same meditation amount. Then finally they can become a successful practitioner. Every lifetime they repeat that one again and again and again. That is showing us a example about how to become an enlightenment. That is teaching actually. All the great master who went under hardship, that's the teaching to us. They personally, they don't need to go to like Shakyamuni Buddha. He doesn't need to go to train. He doesn't need to go to receive teaching. He doesn't need to go to 6 years ascetic meditation. He can teach directly from his childhood of the Siddhartha. But no, he went through all the common way, ordinary life. You went through everything, then he become a Buddha. So that is showing us how to become enlightenment. So that way, enlightenment manifests many different different way to basically, it's the main purpose of enlightenment manifestation is what is mean that for liberating beings. Main purpose is how they will liberate beings. All the enlightenment activity is everything is related to the how to liberate sentient beings. So conclusion of those three, know that the body of the Buddha are included in the 3 Buddha bodies, like Nirvana Kaya, Sambhoga Kaya, Dharma Kaya. 3 bodies are taught of the being of the fulfillment of one's own and other goal along with their basis. So enjoyment body is a fulfillment of your own, because you enjoying on the Mahayana teachings of the basically enjoyment body is a complete, can say really form of enlightenment should be like that. So if you become a Buddha, you become like that. You gain that kind of qualities. You know, it's called the mm, quality of the separation and quality of the maturations. So that quality of the separation and quality of the maturation is your own fulfillment. That's come from the you can see Sambhogakaya. So quality of the separation mean like when you separate your mind from the defilement, then you can have a quality such as a 10 power, 18 unique quality, and 4 fearlessness. So this is called the 32 quality of the separation, and 32 quality of the maturation is called the in Latin major sign, like in the body show up major sign. Those all in Buddha's major sign is a result of when Buddha was a Bodhisattva path, what kind of a practice he went through. So that way it's called the quality of the maturation. So this is a perfect quality of the separation, and a perfect quality of the maturation is you can see that quality see on the Sambhogakaya. So that way called the Sambhogakaya is the fulfillment of the one's own. Then Nirvana Kaya is the fulfillment of the other's goal. It means Nirvana Kaya, some have those major and minor marks, but some Nirvana Kaya show us a different form. Sometimes Buddha show us a like pig, sometimes Buddha show us a monkey, sometimes Buddha show us an elephant, sometimes Buddha show us a deer, sometimes Buddha show us a many different way manifests how to benefit sentient beings. So there's a many different way to benefit sentient beings. Like some saying is like a Devadatta. Yeah, Devadatta as a cousin of the Buddha, as a manifestation of the one Buddha. So there's some sutra mention about that. So that is showing as even those Buddha, sometimes if there's a necessity, they manifest as an evil one, like a Devadatta, So that way, Nirvana Kaya not necessarily with the quality of the separation and quality of the appearance. I can say appearance of the quality of the separation and quality of the maturation is not always there. But Sambhogakaya is always a quality of the, I think that reason is saying is, fulfillment of the goal, your own goal as a Sambhogakaya, and fulfillment of the others' goal as a Nirmanakaya. Because a Nirmanakaya, for others' sake, they manifest as any kind of form. Yeah, so that reason said, and it said, they said goal and along with their basis. What is the basis? The Dharmakaya is the basis of the both of them. The both of them come from the Dharmakaya, source or base of the both Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya is a Dharmakaya. So I think this is the reason. So what is the all the Buddha are equal, sameness, or here said uniform. What it means that in the term of a basis, intention, activity, they are same. So what is the sameness of all the Buddhas? The basis, all the enlightened beings based on the Dhammadhatu, pure suchness of the Dharmakaya. So all Buddha are basis on basis of that one. So that way equal. So Dharmakaya are because of the all the base in the space of that nature. So that way sameness. And all the Nirvana Sambhogakaya intentions sameness. It's intention sameness means that they are based on the altruistic motivation of a bodhicitta. So that way, their intention they all sameness. So benefits so they don't have like some are greater intention, some are lesser intention, like a nirmanakaya. Nirmanakaya have many different type of intentions, or I think, but the sambhogakaya is like always be kind of same intention. Then that reason all the sambhogakaya are sameness. Then nirmanakaya is the sameness of the enlightened activities. They manifest all different type of manifestation to liberated sentient beings. So based on that, their activity, their sameness. So I think that is showing us what is the sameness of the nirmana sambhogakaya. I mean the intention. What is the sameness of the nirmanakaya? Mean the activities. What is the sameness of all the dharmakaya is the nature of the state of the dharmadhatu. That is a base of all the equal or sameness. So the reason these three are the sameness of the enlightened, same. In the term of the nature, insensity and continuity, they are eternals. So now one is the sameness. Now it's talking about the by the nature, dharmakaya are naturally undestructible. And so that way, eternalism or permanent. So dharmakaya nature, no one can change the nature. The nature doesn't matter. So that way, is it eternalism or permanent? And sambhogakaya is a insensity, basically saying continuing, because the sambhogakaya pure land, the sambhogakaya have no sense of like a birth, age, and mahabari nirvana. That kind of deed is not exist, continually giving teachings. Sambhogakaya Buddha. Nirmanakaya and Sambhogakaya different. Nirmanakaya sometimes appearing, sometimes not. Like Shakyamuni Buddha, one point appearing, but then later he is to Mahapari Nirvana. But Sambhogakaya pure land, Buddha is continually giving teachings. This one continually giving teaching. Some argument saying is a Buddha, this continuous not same Buddha. The Buddha will change, when the old one is die, new one come. Old one is kind of expired, new one come. But all the Bodhisattva couldn't see that change, shift. Ship is not change, see. But some say it's not true. Buddha the Sambhogakaya don't have that kind of changiness. So that reason, one particular Buddha continually giving teaching without the ceasing. So that reason, this one is have a little bit what called that two different how to say two different explanation. Some insensi. I don't know how to say this one. Can somebody help me?
Incessancy.
So some teachers saying it means that one particular Buddha continually giving teaching, and some saying even a Buddha is a change, but a disciple couldn't see that change. Bodhisattva, those pure lands Bodhisattva, they couldn't see that change, so that way continue. So either way, in that Sambhogakaya pure land, Buddha is continually giving teachings, the activity of Dharma continually. So that way called is continuing. And this Nirmanakaya, even Buddha have, the like changing, like death, birth, but still their enlightened activities will continue. They never stop enlightened activity. You know, even Buddha is a died, but then manifest somewhere else. So that reason, they continue performing the enlightened activities. But so like Shakyamuni Buddha is not appearing here, but somewhere else appearing. You know, so that way even ceasing somewhere, but appearing somewhere else. So that reason their enlightened activity will be continue. So based on that is called eternal or changeless, never change. So what is the eternal of the Dharmakaya? Is it they naturally never change? Is it that because they never change from the nature of the suchness, Dharmakaya? And what is the eternal or never changing or continuing of the Sambhogakaya? Is it they're continually enjoying on the Mahayana teachings, you know? So like teaching to the Bodhisattva continually, so without the ceasing, that way it's becoming eternal. And Nirmanakaya Buddha, they are enlightened manifestation of the continually. What if not here, then somewhere else. So they never take vacation. They never take the day off. They never take the resting day or kind of retirement. So continually benefit the sentient beings. So that reason is called eternal or changeless, something like that. So this is a two. Same, what is the sameness? What is the eternal of the three body? Okay, so this is the about what is the five or four, or what is the three kayas? Nirmana kaya, Sambhoga kaya, Dharma kaya. Now, wisdoms. There's four type of wisdoms: Mirulaga wisdom, discriminative wisdom, equalizing wisdom, and accomplishment wisdoms. So, so that is there are only unmoving mirulaga noise. This talk about the noise of wisdom, and the three kind of a noise based on it: equalizing, all discriminating, and all accomplishment. So this also, this mirulaga wisdom is a transformation of our alaya consciousness. When alaya consciousness is transformed and reach to the state of the mirulaga wisdom, and that mirulaga wisdom is unmoving. Why is it unmoving? Is it not moving from the state of the pure dharma dhatu or pure suchness. So that way it's called the unmoving noise. And so okay, that one. And all the three of the noise based on it is like through the mirror you see different form, you know, whatever image can see through the mirror. Similarly, all the other three wisdoms, what are equalizing wisdom, discriminative wisdom, and accomplishing wisdom, are based on this mirror-like wisdoms. So equalizing wisdom as a transformation, result of the transformation of the afflicted mind, and all discriminative wisdom is a transformation or purification, result of purification of the mind consciousness or mental consciousness, and all accomplishing wisdom is a result of the purification of the five sense consciousness, you know, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body sense consciousness. When they transform and is become accomplishment wisdom. So this is a in here mention about the only four wisdom. So normally we have a five wisdom. So one is called the Dharma wisdom. So because the Dharma wisdom is inseparable of the Dharmakaya, it's a part of the Dharmakaya. So that way it's not mentioned here. This is a mainly five or called the eight, eight consciousness. When they are purifying and transform to the four wisdoms. Alaya consciousness, impure is called alaya consciousness, pure is becoming mirula wisdom. Afflicted mind consciousness, impure is afflicted mind. When it is purified or transformed, it's become equalizing wisdoms. When mind consciousness, conceptual thought, mind consciousness, purify or transform, it become discriminating wisdom. Here's a discerning, and five consciousness transform or purify, it become accomplishing wisdom. So this is a four wisdom basically talking about. Now first one is what is the mirula wisdom? Said mirula wisdom is devoid of the sense of possessions. So mirula wisdom have no like sense of a form, color, shape of a way to recognize it as its own phenomena. Because it doesn't have like a subject, object, the self, and what called mental formation. That kind of concept is not there. So that the is called the devoid of the sense of possessions. That is what the sense of possession mean, that one. And utterly impartial. So it's not like a somewhere exists, somewhere not. So that way utterly impartial and ever present. Always be present, that one. Doesn't matter where. It's not ignorant with the regard of all things that can be knowing. And it's naturally free from a two kind of obscuration. So that way it's not ignorant with regard to all things that can be known, but ever direct toward them. What does this not ever direct toward them mean? Is it have no identical, because it doesn't have its own identical. Like if mirror have an image, you cannot look in the mirror to see your own face. Mirror doesn't have any kind of identical, that way you can see your face through the mirror. But without the mirror, you cannot have that reflection. So mirror wisdom is that way said, there's but never direct toward them. Mean that there's no directly conceptual about this and that. So they don't have that kind of a discriminating concept. They don't have a discriminating identical. The mirror wisdom, it doesn't have a discriminating identical or discriminating conceptual of this and that, good and bad. So the reason is called this particular wisdom is called the mirula wisdom. Okay. Now said, because it is a cause of the all kind of the noise. All kind of noise is talking about that. discriminating wisdom, equalizing wisdom, and accomplishment wisdom. All those three wisdom come from this miru-like wisdom. So that way called the miru, because the miru show all the different type of reflection of the image, but it doesn't have their own image. So that way, because this all other wisdom is an appearance because of this discriminate, miru-like wisdom. So that way, this miru-like wisdom is a cause of all kind of noise. It's like the great mind of the noise. Sorry. So like ocean is called the great mind of the jewel. All the great jewel come from ocean. Similarly, this miru-like wisdom is like that. All the source of the come from. It is the enjoyment body itself. And some commentary, Tika, as one of the Indian commentary, said, because this miru-like wisdom is the cause of a sambhoga khaya, that way is the enjoyment body itself. Or sorry, it's noisy. Some water there. I don't know who is louder, me or that machine. So this is the base of the sambhoga khaya. So that way it's called the enjoyment body itself. For the other kind of a noise appearance as a reflection in it. So like a miru, you can say other form of image reflection can see in the miru. Same way, other kind of noise or wisdom, like a discriminating wisdom, equalizing wisdom and accomplishment wisdom as a appearing because of this miru-like wisdom. That way it's like reflection on it. So that is what is a miru-like wisdom mean. Now noise of the equality is held to be. So this equality is when start is at the first bhumi, Bodhisattva have realizing this called the equanimity of the sentient being and self, equalize. Equanimity realization come when Buddha reached to the Bodhisattva reached to the first bhumi, and continuing that one, and through that too until the 10th bhumi, then reach to the Buddhahood. That way, then this equality of the great equanimity that comes. So that way, that's one. Pure as a result of its cultivation with respect sentient beings. So a result of the cultivation, it means that continually meditating through the 10, through the first bhumi to until the 10th bhumi with the post meditation and equipoise meditation. So cultivation with the respected the sentient beings. So respected sentient being means the equalizing the self and other, like equanimity. That one. So to have entered the non-dwelling space. What is the non-dwelling space? It means the beyond the concept of samsara and nirvana, that is a Buddhahood. So reach to that state of the non-dwelling is said to be the noise of the equality. So this is what is how equanimity wisdom is come. It means that then the first bhumi have a equality of self and other, in equality. In the eighth bhumi, have a equanimity of all the phenomena, and went through that to continually, dwelling, what called the continually cultivation on that, and when you reach to the Buddhahood, then you realizing the equanimity of a non-duality of a samsara and nirvana, inseparable of a, so that's called the it's called the non-abiding nirvana, which is the Buddhahood. So that is the complete equanimity. So constantly possession of the love and a great compassion is a visibly revealed of the sentient being, the Buddha's form according to their aspirations. Because of that way, so they have constantly possess of the love. Love means the care. Love means the wishing to be sentient being to be happy, and great compassion means that when beings are suffering, then they can sense, they can feel. I think for us, we don't have that kind of equanimity. How we know is if you see your dear one, someone, in your life, dear one, you have a sense of a love. You feel that love. But if you see the stranger one, you don't have that one. So that reason we don't have equanimity. Same way, when your dear one, loved one, is a really kind of like going through the hardship, you have a sense of a compassion. But if you see a stranger one is a going hardship, you don't have that much sense. Like if you see someone is suffering on the street, you're not going to noticing that much. Even you noticing, you're not going to, remember that much. So you don't have that really sense of compassion there. So that reason, we have some partially love and compassion, but it's a really partial. It's a really discriminated. Only like a sudden beings we have that one. But the Buddha and Bodhisattva, especially here talking about the Buddhas, enlightened one, they don't have that sense. Self and other, they don't have a sense of loving kindness, compassion toward to the loved one or enemies. They have an equal feeling toward to the every sentient beings. Doesn't matter that sentient being is you're doing favorable to you, or that sentient being is doing negative to you. Feeling of the enlightened one, they are same way to everyone. That's what is equanimity mean. We need to equal, but we don't have it yet there. But so when we become a Buddhahood, then we can have chance, we can have that same equanimity. Loving kindness, compassion, those are also. Now, discriminating wisdom. All this discerning noise is never obstructed as all there is to know. It means that discerning wisdom mean discerning wisdom mean they know everything phenomena. There's nothing to be not known. Everything know. The phenomena generally characteristics and specific characteristics. And without the hindrance, without the obstacles. It's like a treasure house as a concentration of the power of the retentions. Power of retention, concentration and power of retention. Concentration means that there's a many different kind of mental concentrations, like Vajalaga concentration, Diamond like concentration. There are many different hero-like concentration. I said there are many different type of concentration have. So all those concentration and power of retention. I think power of retention is called the tarani. Tarani means the knowledge holder, holding. The countless of the knowledge are hold. I think knowledge holding, so which is mean the retention. Tibetan called the zimba. Things in the sorry. Sungiko is a door of tarani, door of the knowledge, door of the holding the knowledge are so in what called immeasurable to the disciple in the retinue, the displaying all kind of richness. So it means that those Buddha are displaying that to the disciple of that pure land, particular pure land, all kind of richness. Earlier I mentioned, there's a two type of richness of the Sambhogakaya. External richness is all the sense sense pleasure as a manifestation of the sense pleasure and of the form, sound, smell, taste, also ground as a pure, jewel, and wish fulfilling tree that fulfill all their wishes, and have a river of the nectar, flowing river of the nectar. So that kind of all the quality is called the all kind of richness, and make the rain of the great Dharma pour down and giving Dharma teachings. So Dharma of the literature, Dharma of the realizations, all kind of teachings and giving. So what is the Dharma of the literature? Is it we're talking about the 8 noble path: right view, right thought, right speech, right livelihood, right action, right mindfulness, right concentration, and so and so. There's 8 noble path. So this 8 noble path, or in the Mahayana, is called the 6 paramita, like generosity, morality, patience, perseverance, mental concentration, and wisdom. Either way, you talk about the 8 noble path or 6 paramita, is a teaching on the 3 trainings: training of the morality, training of the samadhi, training of the wisdom. So these 3 training are describing in the scripture of what called the Dharma of the literature is called the 3 Pitaka. Vinaya Abhidhamma Sutra, that's called the 3 Pitaka. And the Dharma of the realization is a 3 trainings: training of the morality, training of the wisdom, and training of the concentration. So this is called the 3 trainings. Those teaching of the great Dharma teaching down, falling down, so to remove all their doubt. That is a great teacher, mean that someone who can remove your doubt. Because once you don't have a doubt, then you can one pointedly concentrate on that to achieve that one. But normally we have a difficulty to concentrate on that because of some kind of doubtness or some kind of a confusion, creating as a not getting there. So the reason those Buddha have because of the discerning knowing or discriminated knowledge, and they can remove all the sentient beings' doubt through the teaching of the Dharma. Okay. Now, the accomplishment wisdom, all accomplishing noise, accomplishing beings well-fired, and mean the benefited sentient beings in all the world with the multifarious of a manifestation, infinity and inconceivable. So infinity and inconceivable, there much as they need, sentient being need, Buddha manifests that much. Many different manifestation. Buddha manifests as a many according to the sentient beings. Then sentient beings need have a limitation, not have limitation. Each one have their own need. And sentient beings have no limitation because there's no like a boundary of samsara. There's no boundary of samsara. So the reason is called the inconceivable because infinity and inconceivable. Why? Because it's beyond our measurement of this much or that much. Knowing that those manifestations of the Buddha forever performing their deed are inconceivable in every way as their diversity, number, and realms. So this enlightened activity have known. Now, because of holding the teaching, because of the attitude of the equanimity, because of the teaching of the true Dharma, and because of the accomplishment test, 4 kinds of noise will probably arise. Sorry, I think forgot to change it. Was because so what is the because when you are ordinary receive the many teachings, so that way I always said don't limit it your teaching receiving teaching, never receive a much you get chance receive. So that's holding the teaching. Linda, you have to receive by that cause gradually transform Alaya consciousness to become Mirulaga wisdom. Because of the attitude of the equanimity. So that when you are ordinary, you have to see other are like you. What they wish, what you wish, they wish. What you don't wish, they don't wish. What you like, they like. What you don't like, they don't like. What they want, what you want, they want. What you don't want, they don't want. So this is called we are same. We have to see that way to sameness of every sentient beings. That then through that to transformation of the your afflicted mind and it become equanimity wisdom because of the teaching to Dharma. So when we are ordinary life, we give the teaching to Dharma. Then through that too, we can share to the discriminating wisdom to can guide sentient being when we become a Buddha. So this one is a reach by sharing whatever you know. So more you can share your knowledge, you gain more. That one. And because of the accomplishing the task. So this is an accomplishing is I don't know what kind of maybe that one, but basically saying is because you doing others chore, like when somebody have to do something, then you said, okay, no, don't worry, I will do this for you. You are working for others' sake. you are helping for other. So through that too, then when you do this as when doing the now ordinary time, then when you reach to the Buddhahood, then you have a accomplishing wisdom, and 4 kind of noise will be properly raised. That is how you can get the quality of the that this is the main cause. One is the holding teaching. Second one is the attitude of the equanimity. Third one is the sharing the true dharma, and the fourth one is the doing others' chore, helping other. So by holding teaching, you get the mirula wisdom. By seeing the other attitude of the seeing of another, you gain the equanimity wisdom. By sharing true dharma teachings, whatever you understand correctly, but not as teaching, every teaching are not necessarily true dharma. So you have a responsibility of sharing right correctly. Then with that, you get the discriminated wisdom. And by helping others, try to do others' chore, others' job, others' work right now, and you will get the accomplishment wisdom. So this 4 wisdom is a result of when we are ordinary, how we behave. From that too, we can get to the these 4 wisdoms. So if you want to be gain the enlightened mirula wisdom, you must receive teaching much as you can. Okay, that is one. And if you want to gain the enlightened wisdom of equanimity wisdom, you have to see right now everyone are equal. Every sentient being are equal. If you want to gain the discriminative wisdom, you have to share perfect teaching. Whatever you know, give that much. Don't try to don't try to jump on the gun to without knowing you try to give teaching, but give the perfect teachings because of the true dharma. And if you want to gain the accomplishment wisdom, just try to help other, do whatever you can. So these are the main cause to how to how to gain the 4 wisdoms. Now, because there are different potential, because there is a benefit, because of the defilement, because of there is no beginning, the Buddha is not single, but because it is the uncontaminated state, there is not distinction, neither he is multiples. Now, because there's a different potentials, because each one have their own potential. Some are belong to the Mahayana family, some are belong to the Sharvaka family, some are belong to the Padija Buddha family. So that way, sentient beings have a different type of potentials. Now, because there is a benefit, what this means is whoever accumulate the merit and accumulate the wisdom, that one become Buddha. So that benefit is a difference, that one. If somebody is who not accumulate the merit and not accumulate the wisdom, that individual cannot become a Buddha. That way. Because the fulfillment. What does a fulfillment mean? Buddha make the commitment saying, I want to liberate this many sentient beings. So zhou mi jiang song. Zhou mean the completion, mi mean the maturation, and jiang mean the purification or completion. So Buddha completion of the true accumulation, maturation of the sentient being, and complete perfection, or as a so this fulfillment of their commitment is fulfilled. So that way, because there is no beginnings, so there's no beginning Buddha. There are many Buddha comes, but then this is the first Buddha. I mean, you can see sometimes the Samantabhadra is a first Buddha, but it's a first Buddha is talking about the Dharmakaya, not talking about the number one, So that's different. Samantabhadra as a first Buddha mean the Dharmakaya. It's not talking about the order of the first one. That's different. So that way there's no beginning. The Buddha is not single. So that way there's no one Buddha. These four reasons, because of the different potential, each have different potential, because of the only who become Buddha is the person who accumulated the merit and wisdom, because of the each Buddha have a fulfillment. Fulfillment is one is a maturity of sentient beings, and there's no beginning. So that reason, this reason, there's no one Buddha. Okay, there's a many Buddha. Then you said, there's a mini Buddha. That means that Buddha is all different. Then you said, because of the uncontaminated state, uncontaminated state of the nature reality, there are no distinctions. There's no different. Like even the 100 Buddha come together, they are sameness. So that way cannot distinguish what is what. Like you can have, there are many boxes, okay, and each box have their own space, and there is 100 boxes around on the ground. Each box have their own space. One day you will burn all those boxes. The space is there, but then you cannot tell which spaces belong to the which box. All become a oneness. Same way, because of this, we have this individuals in 5 aggregate. So that way we see as all individually. But when burn out of this 5 aggregate, then one day, then we reach to the suchness of the Dharmakaya. When we reach to that suchness of Dharmakaya, there's no different. All become same. So that reason, neither as a multiple, means that there's not also no. So the true purity, state of the true purity of the as a state of the true purity is the what called permanent. So that way there's no many Buddha too. Okay, what which does not exist is held to be the supreme existence. So this is talking about what is the main cause of achieving the perfectly pure. I say which does not exist. What does mean that does not exist? Mean that on the alaya consciousness, there's a discrimination about the grasping of the subject and object. It not really exists on that state in that alaya, in the alaya consciousness. So when not existent, that it held to be the supreme existence. So what is the supreme existence is talking about here is a absolute nature. In the Chitta Mantra, they divided in all phenomena are divided into three. Imagination, dependent, and absolute. So this is what it's been does not exist means on the dependent of the phenomena, imagination of the discrimination are not exist. Okay, so that does not exist. But when you see that not existent is the absolute, that is the supreme existent. Not accomplishing is in any way is the held to be supreme accomplishments. So not accomplishing mean that beyond the conceptual of a thought of this and that. That is, that is what it mean that not conceptualizing anyway, non-conceptualizing anyway, mean that conceptual of a good, bad, right, wrong, that kind of discrimination. As a whole to be supreme, conceptualizing mean that as a non-conceptualized wisdom. That is the supreme conceptualizing. Meditation that does not look at the aspect is the whole to be supreme meditation. So there's a many different type of meditation. When you reach to the state of the Mahamudra, the Mahamudra is beyond the concept of a subject and object, beyond the concept of the dualistic conceptual thought. So that is the supreme meditation. Which is a okay state of that. The attainment that those who do not look as attain anything as also hold to be supreme. Why? It said attainment those who do not look. If you have a conceptual of I want to achieve this one, that is a conceptual thought, and what call Ziba. How to say Ziba? This too knowledge. So without the grasping of the phenomena of achieving. If you have a grasping of the Buddha as a phenomenon of achievement, you're not going to reach to the Buddhahood. So if you want to reach to the Buddhahood, you have to eliminate that grasping too. So that reason that what is mean that do not look as anything as a held to be supreme. And those who have a view concerning high, distant, and attribute, their own superiority and in term of diligence of this proud Bodhisattva is said to be they are far from the enlightenment. So if you have a view of a concerning high, it means that this is high is talking about the so high that all those teaching of the Buddha is so extremely high that I have no way to I can understand. That is one. Or higher, or distance mean that it's so far that there no way I can reach that one, because it's really difficult to achieve that way distance. And attribute and mean that have a grasping on the Buddha is like this, Buddhahood is like this, that kind of a grasping of attitude. And their own superiority of the term of a diligent mean that like they think themselves as I have great diligent, I'm a great one, I'm the wonderful one. This kind of conceptual of this proud Bodhisattva, this kind of proud Bodhisattva. If you think as a, like sometimes you can see that way. I think this you have to be careful. Sometimes you see text, this is the best one. Mahayana is better than Theravada, or things like that. Vajrayana is much better than Mahayana Sutra. Last this kind of text, sometimes you see, you have to be careful. If you have this, you take literally on that word, then you will create the proudness. Those proudness of the arrogant. With that kind of proudness of the arrogant, you will not be close to the enlightenment. So sometimes we don't have the hatred about the Dharma generally, but because of our lineage, our guru, and our particular uh, 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 belonging on the particular society, then we're creating, oh, ours is better than their one. Lots of time, even I heard some master saying, this Dharma is better than that Dharma. That kind of statement can create it, your distance from the Dharma. And you don't have a hatred for the Torah to the Dharma generally, but you have a hatred to the Dharma because of that discrimination. So that kind of attitude cannot have in liberation. That way, Midriya said, somebody who have a hatred toward to the Dharma cannot have a nirvana. So same way, here also saying that kind of bodhisattva is far from the enlightenment. So if long as you have this arrogantness of our is a superior, our lineage is better, our lineage is superior, our teaching is the best, and this kind of a discrimination, and you think that is a superior, you will never reach to that state. So that is a difference between the realized one or logical one. Logical one is always a discriminate. Said, oh, this teaching is much better than this one. This lineage is better than this one. This guru is better than this one. And always have discrimination logically. They created that one. Because that is a job for the logic. Logic have to do that one. But if you get into too much into the logic, it's going to disturb your meditation, because always come with this questionable doubtness of a logical explanation. And lots of things you cannot explain by the logic. Because of that logical conceptual, then you discriminate. Because of that discrimination of the conceptual, then you never become close to the enlightenment. So you have to be careful with that. And those who regard of those, oh, sorry. Those regard to all the aforementioned view as a mere conceptual construct of this bodhisattva who are free from the concept, as said, they will attain the enlightenment. So what does it mean that those regard all the aforementioned view? Aforementioned mean the earlier, verse 81. A more conceptual construct of this bodhisattva who are free from that conceptual of themselves as a superiority, or that kind of a distance, kind of a attitude, then that one is said to be the will attain the enlightenment. The river that have not reached the sea have a different location, different stream, little water, and the different activities. So this is talking about the providing of the need to any creature as a living them. So this is the wisdom that before reach to the Buddhahood is like a river. The river have a different, before reach a sea of the Buddhahood, that wisdom have different locations. Each river had their own location, and different stream, different, and also water is really small compared to the ocean. And the different activities, each one do their own activities, which just mean that one area's river cannot help other area. Like a Mississippi River not going to benefit for the people who live to the like Colorado or other place. So that is showing as each have their own activities, providing for the need of the tiny creature living in them. So I mean the small number of being live in those creatures. Yet when they reach to the ocean, they all have one location. Their water single vast expanse with the same activity immense of the constant source, and for married marine creatures and providing the all they need. So this is it. When reach to the Buddhahood, then that is like all the river reach the ocean. Once they reach to the ocean, it become a one. Location is a one. They all reach the ocean. Doesn't matter which direction land is get to that same ocean. So the water single vast expanse. Then water is a one. There's cannot discriminate. This is in the ocean, you cannot say, oh, this part of waters come from this river. This part of waters come from this river. There's no that kind of such things. With the same activities, then all their oceans, their whatever activities, is the sameness. Then immense of the constant source. There's all for married marine creatures. There's how many sentient beings live in the ocean, providing all their needs. The satisfied who have not reached enlightenment. So here's talking about satisfied. This Bodhisattva have many different names, like 16 different type of Bodhisattva name. So a kind of sometimes said a fearlessness one, sometimes said sattva, it means hero one, sometimes said satisfied one, sometimes said supreme being. So there's a many different Bodhisattva name. So one of the name is a satisfied. It means the stable one, never changing. No matter what condition come, Bodhisattva will never change their behavior, never change their attitude, never change their commitment. That is a show as a difference between the ordinary and Bodhisattva. Ordinary, we only can keep our commitment when things go well. But when things go wrong, we couldn't keep our own commitment. But Bodhisattva, they will keep no matter what, once they make the commitment. So that way, that's called the set face. Who have not reached to the enlightenment, meaning not yet become a Buddha, have a different support, different intellect, and a little realization and different activities. They benefit constantly providing for the only few beings. So this is earlier we mentioned the river and ocean. Now that is an example. Now meaning is here talking about the Bodhisattva and Buddha. River are like a Bodhisattva. As their activity is location is different, as mean that have different support of the different party, and different intellects. Each one have their own knowledge. Okay, not necessarily all same, and different realization. Some have a like post women, some have 8 women, some have 10 women. That's different realizations and different activities. Each Bodhisattva, they perform different way to benefit sentient beings. They benefit constantly providing for only few beings. Compared to the Buddhist manifestation, Buddhist benefit, Bodhisattva's benefit sentient beings a really small number beings. Once Buddhahood is reached, they will. So it means that when those Bodhisattvas, after the completely purification of the subtle obscuration at the end of the 10th Bhumi, reach to the Buddhahood. And then they say have but one support. It means that all one base or one state of the Buddhahood. Single great realization. So that now they reach to the highest realization of that single great realization, which is mean that they have a perfect, falseless realization. They are deed blind as a one. It means that then all the enlightened activity become a one. All are same. And eternally and abundantly, they fulfill the need of vast and host of the beings eternally. Eternally means that continually. Here, let's talk about that without the taking break, without the ceasing, continually and boundedly. As a they are no like a different location or this and that. They fulfill the need of a vast host of the world beings, all the 10 direction, and all the 3 times. Buddha manifests enlightened activity continually. Thus, because of the enlightened state has incomparable virtues, qualities. So from the own perspective, Buddha, they have like a called the uncontaminated dharma, such as a 10 power, 18 unique, and 4 fearlessness, that kind of qualities. Because it is the cause of a benefiting and happiness. Here, benefit and happiness is a temporarily benefit sentient being in the samsara and permanently reach to the nirvana. So temporary benefit and permanent happiness, that will benefit and happiness. Because it is an inexhaustible source of the highest bliss. So why is an exhaustible source of the highest bliss? So what this means is that those Buddha are from the suffering, permanently free from the suffering. So that is mean the highest bliss and the virtue. And the wise should adopt the various intention to attain the enlightenment. So because this reason, wise one should adopt the intention to become enlightenment of the Buddhahood. Okay, today we went through good. So this is the chapter 10, one of the kind of like from the beginning to until the enlightenment, one of kind of structure of a meaning of enlightenment is a complete, one is a finish in the chapter 10. And so we stop here and thank you. Chan Chui Sem Joy Rempo Ma Je Pa Nai Je Joy Je Bai Nyam Bai Mem Bai Yang Kone Kondo Pe Wai Sho Dada Konde Tam Je Tu Sundo Sa Yebe Jewe Zawa De Dada Seche Tanje Nyundo Lana Mamba Yanda Ba Sobe Chanju Rembo Je Toba Joj Checha Kose Kunje Chuje Je Tende Nela Wandon Te Gomba Renje Beche Temba Site Shedru Tosan Gomben Zingyo Jis. Thank you, Zolti, and thank you, Sergey, and also Miss Ngong. She couldn't come today, and I'm going to stop this class here at the moment because next Tuesday is a Tibetan New Year, and after that I have a personal some things to do. I need to go somewhere, so that way I may not have a chance to come online. I don't know what is the internet condition. So I think until further noticing, I'm going to stop this class right now here. And in the future, maybe I hope we can start in the summer or sometime in the future, near future. So, and thank you so much. And I also hope the planning this, I hope this happen April 22 and 23, I think April 22 and 23 is a weekend. Going to be Panjana Paramita and Heart Sutra teachings. And it's after that weekend is maybe teaching on the 35 Buddhist confess that text. So that is if some of you interesting, will start from there. Until that, I'm going to have temporarily stop the class. And so thank you so much, all your kind, generous, and effort.
Tujie Kampola.
Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, and have good day. Happy Losar. This next coming Tuesday is a next week. At this time is a Tibetan New Year, Lunar
Лоса.
Tibetan New Year,
Мгм.
and this Sunday actually
Следующий выходной
we're going to have
будет у нас Лосар уже.
because that day is a Dharmapala day, 29. So we're going to
29
have
у
a
нас
Dharmapala
обычный день
practice.
Дharmapala.
If you wish
Делаем
to, you
практики.
can join around 10 o'clock.
То в 10 часов у нас
same
вот
Zoom.
по их времени
Until that, thank you
будет
everyone.
проводиться ритуалы.